poker a little different here in Texas. This is literally just in a regular shopping center, so I've never seen that.
The under the gun player can straddle for $6, but if they don't want to, then the button player can straddle for $6, and then action would start from the small blind. Get things started with a $15 double board bomb pot. So if you watch my Vegas vlogs, you probably noticed these. That was the first time I ever played them, but it's going to have no pre-flop action, goes right to 2 flops, and the winner of each board gets half the pot. Flops come out queen 9-9 with 2 clubs and 10-10-4 with 2 clubs. I checks to the late position player who bets 75. The button calls and I fold. This is a type of hand that I've seen a lot of players get in trouble with. Really, with double board bomb pots, you want to be able to win both boards. Obviously, I had the trip 9s on the one board, but I had a bad kicker and really nothing on the other board, so that's why I folded. Here's the conclusion of that hand. It was just the 2 players going heads up and they ended up chopping. The person on the button had a full house on the top and the other player had a full house on the bottom. Here, look down at ace 9, 8-5, single suited in middle position in a straddled pot. There's 1 limper to me. I limp. Player to my left limps. Next player makes it 30. The button calls, 1 caller to me, and I call. So we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes king, queen, 6 with 2 spades. Checks to me, I check, and the late position players check. So we're going still 4 ways to a turn. Turn brings a 10 of clubs. Checks to me, I check. The original raiser bets 125. Folds to me, and I fold. He turns over 3 of his cards, which are ace, jack, 8 with 2 clubs. So he's going to take it down. Here, look down at king, jack, 10-3, double suited in the hijack in a straddled pot. Middle position player makes it 20. I call, and there are 3 other callers, so we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes ace, queen, 10 with 2 diamonds. The original raiser bets 50. I just decide to call, and everyone else folds, so we're going heads up to a turn. Quick note about flop nuts straights. It's the only hand where you can flop the nuts and literally 3 other people can have the exact same hand as you. So on a board like this, when a flush draw is available that I don't have, I prefer to just call because, a lot of times you could end up getting free rolled and you want to really know the percentages, so if he has, let's say, like a set and a flush draw, he's actually a pretty good favorite in this hand. So that's why I just called there. Turn brings an 8 of clubs. My opponent bets 175 and pretty easy decision here. I push and my opponent quickly calls. So we're going heads up to a river. River brings a pretty awful card in the 7 of diamonds. My opponent turns over his hand. He has ace, king, queen, 2 with the ace, king of diamonds, and he's going to take it down. Another quick note on that hand, if you have a draw, like a really big draw, you prefer to get the money in on the flop as obviously you have more cards to hit your draw. But if you have a made hand, which obviously I had there, you prefer to get the money in on the turn. Because if you look at the percentages of these hands, my opponent in this hand was actually a favorite on the flop, but then the turn I actually became about a 2-to-1 favorite. So here, look down at jack 10, 8-7, double suited in middle position in a straddle pot. There are a couple limpers to me. I make it 30. There's 3 callers back to the limper who makes it 60 back to me. Kind of a weird raise by the under the gun limper here in my opinion. I mean, usually if you're going to limp re-raise, you're going to go pretty big as, obviously he's going to be representing aces here a lot of times, but you really don't want to kind of open the door for 4 other players to call against you. So I took a while here to contemplate my decision. I almost, pushed, just kind of knew I would be able to get a heads up against him, but just decided to call and the other 3 players called. So we're going 5 ways to a flop. I'm really glad I decided to just call with this hand as we probably get the worst possible flop in queen 4-2 all clubs. Everyone checks to me, I check, and action checks through. So still going 5 ways to a turn. Turn brings a 3 of clubs. I check. Late position player bets 60, and the only player that calls is the under the gun player to my right. So they're going heads up to a river. River ended up bringing a 3 of spades. Under the gun player checked. Late position player bet 250. Player to my right ended up tanking for a while, and I guess because I wasn't in the hand any longer, he looked at his hand and I actually saw he had ace, 7-2 with 2 hearts, which is pretty much what I thought he had, and he ended up tank folding. So late position player took it down. He showed ace 5 of clubs for the turned straight flush. I look down at king, queen 2 double suited in the hijack in a straddled pot. There are a couple limpers. Early position player makes it 30. Folds to me. I decide to 3-bet to 100. Folds to the straddler who calls, then back to the original raiser who only has about $300 left, and he's counting out his chips, and he decides to put them all in the middle, back to me. So just to give some insight on my 2 opponents in this hand, the early position player, he seems to be pretty solid, so I mean he is obviously going to have aces here a lot of times, but, you know, he's definitely capable of doing this with some kind of like double suited rundown hand, which, you know, I'm doing pretty good against. And the player on the button, he's shown down some pretty interesting hands. So he looks like he wants to kind of gamble, which, you know, is also suggested by him straddling on the button. And based on the stack sizes, there's going to be about a $450 side pot. So my thinking in this hand was, even if I push and lose the main pot to the short stack player, I'll only really lose under $100 if I win the side pot against this button player, who I do tend to be ahead against. So I decided to go with it, and the player on the button calls. So we're going 3 ways to a run out. Well, comes 8-5-2 rainbow. Turn brings a 3 of diamonds, bring in the backdoor flush draw. River brings a 10. And I turn over my hand, and the late position player on the button turns over his. He has ace, ace, 10, 9, double suited. And the early position player has ace, ace, 7, 6, single suited. So they're going to both chop it up with a pair of aces. What's up, guys? Wayne back here with you. So today I was in for 1,200, out for 0. Only played for 55 minutes. Biggest loss of the vlog. So I'm hoping, you know, the next time I can play, my 2 buy-ins will at least last an hour. But as always, let me know what you guys think. You know, I think I definitely learned a little bit about the game today. You know, how, you know, it looks like it's a little bit more aggressive than the average place. So that'll definitely help me moving forward. But I'll see you guys next time. Take care.